So let's talk about AI and how it can help you. There is a lot of conversation about how AI can help, but there's a huge gap between what's been said about how AI can help and how it can actually help. Let's focus on that. What is actually available now that can help you and how can it help you? There's a lot of engines that you can use. But let's just use one as an example, and we'll use Chat GPT. And you might know that Chat GPT had a change probably a couple of months ago where it went to Chat GPT 5. And one of the big benefits there, instead of having a whole bunch of different models that you could use that specialized in different tasks and being able to or having to know which model you'd use when, with it going to Chat GPT 5, it started to automate that. So whatever you asked for, it would decide the best model to use. There were some benefits and some negatives around that. But certainly Chat GPT became, especially with Model 5, a little bit easier to use for most people. 5.1 has just come out now, and much like 5 was much I can't think of the word, but promoted, there's a better word than that, to be better at following instructions and giving clearer and better responses. That's the same for Chat GPT 5.1. Here's where it might be really beneficial for you. There's a lot of things that AI can be used for at the moment where I think it's really helpful, and other ways that it's not. If you're looking to analyze something or understand something or ask a pretty discrete question for a discrete answer, or then this probably sums it up nicely. If you're curious about something, I saw this on the front of a magazine. I thought this is perfect. I'll rip that off. But if you're curious about something and you want an answer, it's really good for that AI. So if you want to understand a piece of legislation and what it means that's passed, or a historical event, or just all those sorts of things you'd use a web browser for to try and find an answer, that answer will probably be found better through AI. Conversely, there's a whole lot of questions you can ask, and the more complicated those questions are, the more nuanced, the more layers to them, that's when you start to get what we refer to as hallucinations. Now, one of the key ways that you can ask is, of course, you can type in and get the answer that way in your Chat GPT 5.1. But what I recommend you do is start to get familiar with voice mode, whereby clicking on the voice icon, you can ask a question and get a response. Couple of quick tips around voice mode. And the first thing I'll say is the more you play in it, the better you will get at it to understand what you can and not can't do, but shouldn't do. So play, but you can interrupt. So if it's providing you an answer that you're not comfortable with, in terms of it's gone off on the right angle, interrupt and restate what the question is. What I like about voice mode is I can take it out running with me, so I can ask questions and have a conversation and understand things better while I'm running. It captures everything you ask in a written form. So if I'm trying to build a letter that I want to send someone, or capture some ideas and brainstorm them and land on a couple of next steps to undertake something, it is captured in your version of ChatGPT 5.1 when you get back home, so you can see it in text form. But one of the negatives is if you're trying to write a letter and you ask it to make some changes to the letter, it will read through the whole letter again. It won't just make those changes. So you can't ask for it to make the changes to the text form that you'll see when you get back home without it reading through the answer. It reads through the answer, then supplies that with text. So it can be a bit tricky or a bit cumbersome that way. The other thing too, and this will be the last thing I leave you with when you play with voice mode, is sometimes I find some of the answers a little bit too, not the answer itself being too elaborate, but all the languaging around it. Lots of ahs and ums to make the language d- um, sound natural, but too many ahs and ums for me. Too much politeness in terms of saying stuff like, hey, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. I like those to be short and sharp. Too often it tells me what the instructions are that it's going to follow before it gives me the answer. And I want all that cut out. So what you can do is customize the language patterns that it uses when you converse with it to make it more aligned with the type of conversation that you want to have. Let me show you how to do that. So if you jump into your Chat GPT, your login, and you'll find down in the bottom left hand corner there, it'll have your profile. I have already clicked on that. Let me go back a step. So here we go. You see my profile down in the bottom left hand corner. I click on that. I click on personalization, and then it pops up with your personalization style. I've gone with efficient. You can see in the drop down list, there's a number of defaults you can choose. I like concise. No, I like plain. Still comes across as friendly, but I want to keep it to the point. I've also, through my experience and some of the things I've just shared with you, tried to tailor some of the responses. So you can see that I put in here that I've asked it not to follow, I'd say that it's following the instructions. No need to do that. It doesn't need to say that I've asked a good question. Also, I don't need it. Um, what was the other thing that I just updated? I've lost it, but I'll come back to that. But the next one down is I've asked it to be also critical. Don't sugarcoat responses. Be critical of my thinking. If I say something and it's wrong, my assumption or my thinking's wrong, tell me that it's wrong. Don't just say that's a good question. Um, at the end, often ChatGPT says you're welcome anytime. Just let me know when you need anything else. And I've shortened that for it to just say okay at the end because I tend to say thank you and I just wanted to say okay. Oh, as I say, taking out the R's and the ums to reduce the answers. And that's basically it. Now, those instructions that I've put in, I update every so often, but I'll put that in the notes in the comment, the first comment in this video. So if you want to copy and paste in the custom instructions, feel free to do that. And that's it. Simply go through, make some updates to personalization, and it should be a lot easier to talk to and give you the richness of answers. And as I say, more than anything, if you're curious about something, so you hear about something, maybe the Great Depression in the 1930s, and you want to know more about the impact of that, those are the sorts of questions to ask. Things that are really discrete and there's a lot of factual evidence and you want to understand something. If you've heard about a hedged fund versus an unhedged fund and you want to learn more about that, those are the sorts of questions to ask. Let me know how you go. Any questions, any thoughts, throw them in the comments and I'll answer. But yeah, use Chat GPT or any other AI engine that works for you to just make life easier. You don't need any more than that at this stage. The engines are getting better and better all the time. A little bit clunky, a little bit of a hallucination at the moment. Let them refine the engines, but know how to use them. So, to find out those factual based things or to get summaries or to help you write a letter, just really simple tasks like that, I often think this thing: how can I get AI to help me? And I think that first before I do anything else. It might be really helpful. All right, take care, catch you in the next one.